Alright, how's that? Is that better? Yeah, so what I'm doing right now is I'm playing with a couple different options on the logo. I think I've got it kind of worked out, that I can run the top half of the logo. I gotta remember where I'm at. This is gonna be super small. It's gonna be right over here. The top half of the logo, and it's gonna look like basically like this. And I was already to this point, and I had all this worked out, and then I got around here. I'm like, why is there a gap right here? And I'd missed coloring in one of the C's right here. So I was like, oh man, okay. So now I gotta scrap it. I gotta redo it, which is fine because once I've gotten into this point, the circles around the outside edge, I can manually do. And what I was thinking about is making it so that I can have this outer design, and then inside you can actually set a coin into. So if you wanted to send out coins in 3D printed Mantic coin holders, then you could do it like that. It's just an idea that I just had in my head. So I need to clear this out, and that I can keep right there. Blender. Yeah, I get these random ideas at like 11 o'clock at night, and it just kind of happens like that. So I need to go through, and this is all of this stuff that I've basically done is all stuff that I've I just I don't know. I just figure out as I go. This is not anything that I've really gone to school or really, taught had any kind of formal training on. This is just stuff that I tinker with, just because I enjoy it. So I thought that I would throw a live stream, and just see one who shows up, because, some people might not show up, and that's fine. Control J. Come on. There we go. So that should all put it together. Then I need to put transform origin to geometry. And that should put it... Oh, where'd it go? Okay, that right there. So let's do scale. So right here now I have the stars and all of the letters across. So I can take... yes, Blender is very rough, but I'm using it in this instance as a very specific point. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this basically outline. I've joined all the sections together. I turned it into a 3D, and then I'm going to take it and extrude it out. Actually, there was one thing I was going to mess with. There you go. It's not letters anymore. It's giant mountains. I thought the bevel was kind of cool, just to give it a little bit of depth. And then I'm going to extrude it. And anything like this, I would rather have it a taller section, because in Tinkercad I can cut it off, and just cut off the bottom half of it. I don't have to keep it that tall. So once I've got this basic section, I'm going to export it as an STL. Let's going to be this one, and I'm going to overwrite it. And then I'm going to go back into close that one. This one here, and then I'm going to import that. Should be untitled STL. See what this does. Oh man, there's a lot more people here than I thought. I'm just gonna see what it comes out. It may be a lot bigger, and that's why it's taking so long to import. But I can scale it back down generally without any issues. I probably scaled that up pretty big. Hey, Matsop, what's going on, man? Yeah, Matswat. I am. My biggest thing, especially with the 3D printer, was I've always been really good at designing stuff on computers, but I am terrible on trying to get it on paper. So what I'm currently doing, and this is taking a really long time. What I'm currently doing is using a bunch of different programs to do one particular thing. So in this instance, what I'm doing is I've taken the original artwork and I've traced the bitmap. So I've traced all of these edges, which is a function right here, trace bitmap. Then I've saved that as an SVG file. From the SVG file, I can import it into Blender. Then I can group it together as a single object and then create that object into a 3D space. Then in the 3D space, currently I'm using Tinkercad, which I really enjoy. I'm going to scale this down again. I really enjoy because it allows me to do a lot of different things. Let's see if I can overwrite that. Then it shouldn't be too big. It shouldn't be over meg. Maybe. Once I get done exporting it, then I import it into Tinkercad. Import. See if it makes it any faster. And then once I combine all of my elements together in an STL file, then I can use what's called a slicer. And that slicer takes that STL file, basically that 3D design, and cuts it into individual layers. And then that converts that data into what's called G-code. And G-code is what tells the 3D printer how to print out each layer. So that's currently what I'm doing. Man, why is this taking so long? Depth. So I'm going to delete this. Then I'm going to re-export the STL to this, and it's going to be an untitled. And then I'm going to refresh this. And then I'm going to import, choose a file. Actually, this. Let's get rid of this. Just because I want a clean workspace, then I'm going to import this and see where it ends up. I've been poring over Python all night trying to model a Twitch-based auction to YouTube chat auction. Yeah, man, Python. I applaud you. Python is beyond my realm. Back in my heyday, I knew several programming languages, web programming languages that I was using, but I haven't used it in such a long time that I've forgotten all of it. So, but yeah, I've written software before, and I remember working on just one piece of this software, and the most frustrating part about it was is I couldn't get one function to work, and it took me probably like 2 days, and I still couldn't get it to work. And then I had a buddy hang out with me, and he was looking through it, and he was like, "Hey, CJ, is this supposed to be a capital G or a lowercase g?" And it was because of the case of that one letter, and that's what was breaking it. And it was just a one piece that was breaking it, and I was like, this is stupid. I was like, it was one tiny little letter that completely broke my entire coding section, and it killed me so bad. It's taking a long time. Come on. Tab issues. I'd rather have tab issues than semicolon issues. Semicolons and colons and what was the other thing? Dots in the wrong spot. A missing parenthesis. Just oh yeah. I remember those days so much. This is taking way too long. How big is this file? Yeah, it's still 1.6 megs. So it should be, I don't know why this isn't working. I'm gonna try to reload it. Okay, Mantic, thanks for showing up, man. Get some rest. Appreciate you coming in. Okay, let's try this again. Import. Dimensions. Yeah, no problem. I mean, I like doing stuff like this because I've designed several coin holders, and I have even printed coin tubes from the 3D designs that I've done, just because I don't know, something to do. So I have several coin tubes that I've designed. I've just started working on another one for some dimes that I had floating around. I was like, well, I'll just print a 3D tube and print a cap to go over it so that I could, I don't know, put it in a box somewhere so I don't have coins sitting everywhere on my desk, and I have coins sitting everywhere on my desks. So I don't know. It is what it is. So I gotta wait for this thing to upload. that this is taking so long to upload. If I do save, export, STL, see if that is any. Okay, there we go. That's a little bit. That's like half the size. I'm just not very patient tonight. I guess I just want this to work, since I finally got a working piece of the one thing that I needed. What I'm designing is I had some ideas. I was trying to 3D print Mantic's logo into something that looks like this, but basically it's not coming out right, because of the edges on some of the pieces. So I am going to try to do something else. So I just came up with this idea that if I can get the text, as far as the part that says Mantic Coins, I found the same font that matches up to the one that Shay was using, and so I found the same font. I installed it on my computer. That way I could copy it. And then I thought, well, what if I just take the text and I have the text on it, and then I can make the rings around it manually in Tinkercad. That's very, very easy to do. Okay, so now it's like super tiny. Oh, I don't know what happened here. It collapsed on itself. Okay, so I'll just try that again. But if I took the text and then put the rings around it, I could have the center empty so that you could put a coin in it or something to that effect. Just something different. I mean, I like tinkering with things like this. Different things that you can do with items. I've designed a bunch of different stuff. Like I used to do entire 3D designs, and it was like entire, I don't know, like scenes of stuff, just because. So let's try to import this again and see if that did any, if that fixed my, issue. But you could put a coin in it, like I had done my the video that I did on my family thing where I designed the coin holder. I designed it in Tinkercad by basically taking the penny dimensions that I had already figured out, and then just made a plate, created the text, and then sank the text into the box, and made the text a negative space, so that when I combined the text negative and the positive box, it created instead of a raised text, it created the space of the text inside the box. So I can do the same thing with this, is that if I can have the text raised on the surface of an item, or I can make it basically negative and then sink it into a box or a cylinder, and that will actually create the space of the text inside, so it looks like it's cut out. So it just depends on what you want to do with it. There's a lot of different things, and especially if you can understand, like I think a lot of the hard part is just understanding, playing with the basic shapes and understanding, okay, so if I want a square cut out of this, box, or if I want, just, I don't know, something different, that you can actually make a negative object and combine it or group it with a positive object. And whatever that negative object is, that space will remove that out of your positive object. And that's a lot of the 3D stuff. I originally started working on CAD. This doesn't give me a percentage. I originally started working on CAD, AutoCAD R14, back in like 2000, and that's where I kind of really just got into the designs aspect, because the second semester of drafting was we did a house build using that foam board, and that was really interesting to me, because it's, okay, so how do I make this 3D design out of this 2D drawing, or this single, the different views, the front view, the top view, the side view, the cut, and just really expanding on that to the 3D realm of, I have to it's much easier for me to design something on a computer, because I can play with it in 3D space, and if it doesn't match what I want, what I think it should look like in 3D space, like in my head, then I can change it. Versus if I was trying to design something on a piece of paper or something, I couldn't do it. I just suck at it. I don't know why. It's rough. It's a rough life. Doom 2 editor. I've got some old DOS games that are Doom. I used to have the Doom trilogy. That's something I would spend hours working on. What if I can still work on this? Okay, so what I'm going to try to do is basically I'm going to create a 4 millimeter? 4 millimeter sphere. Basically, it's going to be coin. When I first use the sphere in this realm, it's going to have these edges, but I can adjust the size. So if I want it really square, I can drop it down to 12. If I want it completely round, then I take it all the way up. So I'll use the lowest setting on the sides until I get the text kind of centered on it. And when I get that centered on it, I can use this snap grid to change the size and everything. I'll take the text and I'll put it on top. I don't think this is square. This doesn't look square to me. 52 and 46. It's not square. That's why. There it is. Now it's square. Put the text on top, center it, and then I can take this and change the sides all the way out to 64, so it's a complete circle. Then I can tinker with, I'll create a hole by using a negative cylinder by putting in a hole like somewhere right here in the center. I know that's not the center, but you guys understand what I'm talking about. And then when I combine the two, I'm going to drop this down just so. Drop it all the way through. So when I combine the two, it's going to give me a hole right in the middle. So I was thinking if I had a coin-sized hole with a lip on the back, so that the coin would actually inset into I'm gonna actually design it right now and see what I can get. Let's do, I don't know, like $50 size, something like that. But I would need it to set not all the way down. So I would need it to go, this is 4 millimeters. So this needs to go up to the top, which I know is right there. And this needs to go down like maybe 2 millimeters. And this should set it so that it has a partial hole in it. I think maybe. Maybe not. I'm trying to get it so that it's got a partial hole in it. Yeah, see. It's got a partial hole in it, and then if I basically use that negative cylinder to cut a hole where a coin could be inserted. But I just don't want it going all the way through. So man, this thing is just not centered at all. It's driving me nuts. What's the size on this? A 27 and 27, so it's centered. So I need to drop this almost all the way down. Okay, so I've dropped it all the way down. It's still off-centered. I can see it right there and right here. So I just need to pull it up a little bit. I'm gonna pull it up. That's 1 millimeter. Let's go 2 millimeters. So 2 millimeters will keep it so that it is basically half the distance. Then what I can do is create another hole right here. So that if you wanted to get the coin out later, then you could just push it out the back, which is something that I've thought about before. So same thing, negative and positive. Then I group these two together. And that gets me that, just like that. So the text would go along the outside here, and then the coin would sit in here, and then if you wanted to push it out again, replace it with another one or whatever, you would just push your finger through the back and push it out. I don't think I don't see where my thing uploaded at. That's not good. Import. Should upload right in the middle here. Maybe I was playing with it. Maybe I was playing with it. I got 2 videos. Well, I guess I could do it one video, but one video off of some nickel rolls that I was working on tonight, or that I was finishing tonight, and they hit very well. I end up getting in this last box 3 silver war nickels, which I'm pretty stoked about. I didn't get any silvers on the last one, but I did get a pretty nice 1929 Buffaloes. Oh yeah, yeah, I could mud swap. That's actually a good idea. Have it so that the highest layer has um, highest layer has $50, and then quarters, well, quarters, nickels, pennies, dimes. The only thing that I would be worried, well, I guess, yeah, yeah. The only thing I was thinking about is that I would be worried that if you had, I mean, not that it would matter, but my OCD says so. That if I would have to find the dimensions on each of those coins as far as the depth, and make sure that that rim, or that insert depth matched the depth of the coin, so that it would be smooth um, across the top. Just because that matters to my brain, I guess. But yeah, I could do that and just step it down. Yeah, I could do that. I actually have a set of calipers that I got that I used for designing. The only problem is with the actual 3D printing. There is a little bit of a, what do I want to call it? A little bit of a not a threshold, not a gap, but a oh, I don't know what the word is. But there's a difference from what you design, because I can take the exact measurements of a penny and design it out, and then when I actually print it out, it's actually about 15% smaller than what you need. So I would have to take that design and basically test out each of the steps to ensure that it will fit the designated coin securely. And I've done that with my penny tubes, and with the nickel tubes and the dime tubes. I've already done those calculations and those test pieces to ensure that what I print out will fit them exactly. So like my penny one is exactly the right amount where you can push a penny in and it holds it securely without damaging it. Um, but yeah, I could do that, because then you can print out these coins, we'll call them coin holders, and then you could put whatever coin inside of them. That would actually be kind of cool. That would be kind of cool for a maker coin. Um, Maker coins are kind of like your calling card, your um, almost like your business card in like 3D printing and other stuff. They have maker coins, so that you can, you give it to somebody and it's like your business card. Um, oh, let's see, it loaded. How well did it do? How well did it do? Dude, that thing got destroyed. Why is it doing that? Yeah, I've literally no idea why it's doing that right now. Because I had it like literally just perfect. Well, shoot. I have no idea why it's getting destroyed like that. What if I take my extrude down to 4, my depth? I'll just take it off. That's the entire curve, so that should be right. And I don't know why that it is now not working like that. That's really weird. Because I literally just had it, like just before I started the stream. I had all of the letters in it. It came out just fine. Hopefully I can get it running into the right letters again. Yeah, because this is gonna be, that should be fine. I shouldn't have any issues with this part. This part should just be fine. I wonder if it's just the import that I'm having issues with. Bevel factor, I don't need a bevel. What is going on? I am very confused. I have no idea why that this is completely destroying this now. So I grouped all these together. This is all one thing. Export STL. This is really weird. I'm not understanding this. Wonder if I could load it in here and see what it looks like. Okay, so here it loads just fine. So here's kind of what I was talking about, how so I can take the scale on this and drop it down. So I could literally print it like this. Oh, I wonder if, you know, I think I know why it's doing this. I bet you it goes back to this part. I think so I'm going to go back to fill. And I'm going to get all of this piece. I think what happened is that when I tried to do the trace bitmap the second time, it only traced the edges. What am I trying to do here? Attempt to plain SVG. So let's try, and that's why. So when I'm trying to import it into so I'm going to delete this, and then I'm going to file import SVG attempt to, okay. So now I need to take all of these curves and then I'm going to join them together to make one solid object. Okay, so I'm going to do... So those are all combined into one object, and then I'm going to turn them into a 3D, and then I'm going to put just a 0.1 bevel on it, and then extrude them to 10, 11. Then I'm going to export this as an STL. I'm going to delete this broken STL. Export STL. Export. Then if I open the STL in here, yeah, that looks better. That looks better. Okay, so now if I import the STL here, hopefully that should give me a solid. Okay, Metzwat. Have a good night, man. Get some rest. I'll probably see you on streams tomorrow. Night, man. Ooh, I didn't know I could do that. So I'm just waiting for this to import. Just waiting for this to import and see where it goes. hopefully it imports correctly. Because I already have the rest of what I would need for the base. But I would have to ungroup this and do... change these so that they actually look like circles. I know that this is probably taking just a long time because I'm streaming at the same time. So my upload speeds are significantly slower. But we'll see what it comes up with. Should kick out right in the middle here. Finally gotten this text figured out where because when I had imported it before into Blender, the text got like it was either missing text or like it wasn't working out, so I had to keep on redoing it. And I think that I had finally figured out how to do it so that it could pull the text in correctly. So now I'm just waiting to see if it's gonna upload correctly. We shall see. It's crazy. Come on. the other thing, and then that I was thinking of that I need to do is recreate these pieces to it. But then I thought about it because all of this darker information, that stuff that's black instead of the gray, is going to all of the black stuff is going to go. So these rings that are around the logo, I can make in Tinkercad pretty easily, so that it's a solid design. I could even have it so that there's no lines, and that it basically, if this was just empty right here, that the this would be the outside of the coin, and this could be the inside open area, like $half size, so that this would be a coin holder, and it would be specific on for that coin. But it's taken a long time to load. I think that would be kind of cool though. So if I printed this just like this, then it would basically have all of these spaces open. But when I import it into Tinkercad, it's going to fill all of these spaces in. So these are solid objects instead of hollow objects like this. Because if I tried printing this right now, it would take probably, I don't know, probably 14 hours to print. I don't know. It's still trying to calculate it up here. So, but this is running a layer height. Like this is extremely tall. Like if I cut this down to like half its height. Let's do scale, uniform scale. Z would be 0.5. That's half its height. So it's flatter. So in this one, I could cut the bottom off. There's a part from that, so cut bottom off. So I could say cut bottom off at 1 millimeter, so that even this has a beveled edge. This is going to cut it off 1 millimeter up, so that it would be flat on the bottom. So let's see how long this would take to print. Now this design field is about 8¼ inches by 8¼ inches. It's roughly that. It's 200 by 200 millimeters, and yeah, 2.5 hours to print this. But these would be individual pieces. They wouldn't be actually setting on something. So that would be the biggest thing, the biggest issue. So we'll delete that, and we'll see. Okay, so it has loaded. The question is, has it loaded correctly? Almost. I don't know why it's loading like that. Okay, so I'm gonna drop the stream for a minute and see if I can't get this to pull in correctly. Give me 1 second, guys.